Welcome to VMJPod's Employee Brand series with me, David Macciocca, and co-host Grant O'Donnell. Each episode uncovers bold ideas, real stories, and practical tips from experts reshaping how organizations attract and retain top talent.
Welcome to the VMJ Pod, where we unpack employer brand. That's what we're going to be talking about in this series. I'm David Macciocca.
I'm Grant O'Donnell, and this is Emma Bolger.
Hey.
Emma, welcome. Tell us
Thanks
a little
so
bit
much.
about yourself and what you're up to.
Yeah, cool. I'm Em. I work at Grilled as their internal comms and engagement manager. That role looks after internal comms, engagement, and employer brand. My background is 19 years of brand and marketing, so it's really cool to step into a space that's purely about people. Grilled, for those of you who may not know, has 170 restaurants across Australia and one in Indonesia, and we're all about changing the burger game for the better. So whether that's through like our really healthy and nutritious products, using local manufacturers, or like all the impact that we make in community, from our Local Matters jars that supports community groups each month to like our city support dinners that we do with Vinnie's and the Salvos every month.
I'll just put it out there. I really love Grilled.
Oh my God.
I love the product.
I just felt myself saliva glands actually pick up. I'm like, I know what I'm doing after this.
But do you have a go-to? Like, is there, like, when you go to Grilled, are you like, this is what I want? Or are you a bit like, oh, there's all this new stuff and like, what do I get?
I try.
It's hard.
I just want to try something different each time.
Yeah.
Just to mix it up. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, let's jump into the episode because there's quite a bit to unpack, but we're just going to try keep it to the theme because you're new to employee brand, and I'd love to hear that story and what you've learned since you've stepped into the role. But what's unique about you is there's 3 key pillars that are so vital and important to the business, and I'd love to hear what the benefits are, and even the things that are not working quite well, but just having that visibility across 3 important pillars: engagement, internal comms, employee brand. Massive.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, they're so interconnected and related. And so, you know, being able to align all these strategic initiatives to support what the company is doing is amazing. But I think what's really cool about Grilled is that internal comms, engagement, employer brand have a really direct connection to the company's purpose, and their role in that is to amplify our people experience. You know, it's about amplifying energy, education, and engagement for our people, and that's directly aligned with the company's purpose, which is all about positively impacting the lives of our people and our communities through engagement, education, and energy. So it's got this direct alignment with that, which makes it so, in some ways, so easy because you've already got everyone's buy-in in terms of the initiatives. When you come back to that why, and, you know, why are we doing this? It's already there, like it's laid out. And so from that, we've got a really solid foundation to then build upon. I think, yeah.
I think, and as you said, like it sounds like it's set up from the start. It's not something you're trying to enforce in and say, so there's this employer branding thing and we need you to do this and maybe deliver it in this sort of way. It's something that's authentic to the company, to the experience within the restaurant environment and the employee experience as well. And I guess, you know, now your role is to amplify that.
Yeah, bring it to life, right? And I think that the amazing thing about Grilled is like it's high energy and there's all these amazing initiatives that are dropping and it's so aligned to our purpose, our values, you know, our mission. And it's just about, you know, being able to tell those stories and bring them to life and show the people behind that as well. But also that alignment to company strategy that brings like our team and our people on the journey with us.
I think employer brand, there's a real benefit for employer brand to be reporting into internal comms. But the fact that someone is running both in parallel plus engagement, it just seems like it's a really neat fit. Now, you're new to employer brand.
Yes.
What did you think employer brand was before you jumped into it, and now what do you think it is?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't even know it was a thing. In previous roles, my roles have been really holistic across brand and marketing in the last 19 years. And so indirectly, I've actually just thought of it as part of the brand, right? Your people are your biggest brand advocates. If they're not on board, nothing's going to be effective.
So true.
Yeah. So it's been really interesting. I think the best thing coming into this role is that there's a lot more focus. I can purely focus on the people aspect of it, and I don't need to think about the customer aspect.
Gotcha.
Because our marketing and brand team have totally got that sorted.
Yep.
So it's really cool because, again, internal comms engagement, employer brand, it is all about the people.
So you having regular meetings with talent acquisition, and how have you found that new way of discovering what's important to them and how you can impact their key metrics?
The way that I work within the company is that, and this is also a bit of a challenge too, I'm part of every team and also by myself. So you do need a lot of resilience. I think when it comes to talent attraction, it was really clear. Employer brand had kind of just been coasting at Grilled. Our talent attraction team really focuses on the recruitment side of it, but, they are absolute superstars in that space. But there was no one to take and lead employer brand. So it kind of just was coasting. And it was so cool to come in with my background and just be able to pick it up, knowing that it's going to really support them in their efforts, because we need our look and our feel to align perfectly with the rest of the brand, but also, appeal to our target markets. Like our biggest thing with employer brand is we want our team to be really proud to work at Grilled when they look and see all the comms and activities that we're doing. We want them to feel energized by that, but we also want anyone who's seen it that's not part of Grilled to have FOMO. So we want them, to want to be part of it.
Yep.
I really like that. And since you've now come in, what's some of the pieces that you've added to it, bringing that marketing perspective to employer brand?
I think the biggest thing is just providing a really consistent brand experience for our team. We focus so much on our guests and our customer experience and that brand experience for them. But coming into the role, I'd say there were two really big projects. One was our new internal comms platform. So we moved from Workplace to WorkVivo, and that was a really big project, but also an awesome one to bring in the experiences that our team have in restaurant and bring that to life online, but also, again, that look and feel. That then paved the way for our employer brand refresh. So as part of the strategy, we reviewed the positioning and the EVPs, which they deep dived into 2 years ago. So it was a bit more of a pulse check
When
on
you
them.
say EVPs, are they
Yep.
were they multiple?
Yeah, they're multiple. So our positioning is love work, and then there's others that sit underneath that, but they all come back to those two simple words. So for
Okay.
instance, it's like,
So that's the statement.
yeah, the
And then
statement
you've
is
got your
love work.
pillars underneath.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Once we got our internal comms platform finalized, that paved the way for, love work to just get refreshed and aligned with that creative, which is completely aligned with what you see from a consumer and guest experience in our restaurants as well. So it was really just starting to create a really strong experience for our team, like we do our guests. And it's really just foundation work as well. And then starting to bring our stories to life. And through that, we've had amazing results on LinkedIn from a 6-month growth perspective. Like I think it was 40%, increase in followers and all these amazing stats just by starting to tell our story. From an internal comms perspective, Grill's always had a really high team engagement on those platforms, but we broke national and international records in terms of active users and engagement on that platform as well.
So what I really love about this is Emma's come from a marketing background and she's talking about marketing metrics as opposed to some or many companies that are talking about impact, like applications. There's value in, impressions, views, but getting to conversions because you're building top of the funnel, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a top of the funnel play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's really cool though is that our talent attraction team have seen a really direct impact. So by creating this consistent foundation and telling our stories, they're having a more engaged experience with candidates as well.
Candidates are more engaged.
Yep.
Talent pools are increasing.
Yep.
Like in terms of quality.
Yeah, that's right. And this has been in play. We've just been building this in 6 months, right?
This episode is brought to you by Video My Job, introducing the fastest way to turn employee stories into multi-channel content. One video now instantly becomes branded blogs, quote cards, social posts, and more, all perfectly formatted for the channels you use to attract and engage talent. And the best part, zero editing required. Record once, repurpose everywhere. Book your demo at videomyjob.com and experience the new era of employee content creation.
If you're not, it may not necessarily be, down to all the nuances within the journey, but also for recruiters are feeling, hey, my job is actually easier. You're making my job easier. You're putting content out there that's assisting with me to attract the candidates that have already bought in. They understand. They love it as well because they don't really want to speak to 100 or 200 people because they put a job out there, right? And they're obviously filtering through and having those sort of conversations. But to understand that someone's already bought in all the content that you put on the website and builds it through, that also is going to help them not only in that initial phase, but when they go to meet a hiring manager, you've enabled them to have a better understanding of the brand as well, to have a quality conversation and, really opt in or just go, maybe it's not for me. I love the burgers, but I'm not necessarily the right person to work here.
Yeah, the right fit. I think what's really cool is currently I'm working really closely with talent attraction. We're coming right into seasonal recruitment and we're about to launch a new AI tool to support the recruitment to make it easier on our restaurant managers. So supporting them with the project, again, it's, the imagery that you see across employer brand is integrated in. So again, this consistent brand experience, the voice, the questions, we don't talk about the role, we talk about the gig. And, just these little language things that's so consistent, again, across the journey. And then going into the comms that these potential candidates will receive. And again, continuing that consistent flow and voice and experience for them as well has been really cool to jump into them with. So, yeah. I think also what's really unique about Grilled is the people that you get to work with. Like our team members are working alongside their best mates or they're going to make best mates and they become lifelong friends. And the stories that have been so amazing in this role to hear and learn, and you speak to anyone in a restaurant, especially that's been with us for a while, and you get the same thing, and it's brought me to tears. Like it really moves you. There's something really unique about the people that work in Grilled, and it's not just in support office.
Tell those stories. Those stories are gone. They really are.
That's the buy-in, right? That's the buy-in beyond the product that you're selling. To hear the people that are making it, how they're contributing to the community. Like I didn't realize that even at a store level that they're selecting the charities in there. I thought maybe head offices going, okay, people have submitted, and there's your three that you're interacting with. But to have that local level of engagement, that also builds more of that sense of community as well, I would think.
Yeah, so much so. It's such a powerful program that we have, and it's so awesome to see our team members bring that to life.
I'm a basketball coach at the Keilor Thunder and Aberfeldy Jets and Grilled, the local community. Like we give away vouchers, and I'm assuming it's because they've raised money for participation in sport so that they're able to do that. They're really engaged with our club.
Yeah, and again, that's driven by the restaurant manager and the restaurant team as well. Like, there's local area marketing initiatives, but again, it needs to come back to align with what we stand for as a company. So our values, our purpose. And again, like the vouchers in sports clubs, so awesome. But again, I'm sure that they'll be like the club probably was on a local matters jar at some point because it can only be on it once every year.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing. It like fills my heart with joy to see the team share what they're doing, from a local community level.
Well, weekly
really
I give away an
that.
award for the best player, and it's not always the best player. It could be the best teammate. But they're so happy to receive like that little voucher. It's
awesome.
It's great.
And I think that feeling and coming back to, what we do from an employer brand, internal comms engagement perspective, that's the thing. Like, this, if you're on the outside, you're like, the perception is, oh, you're all about warms and fuzzies, but that's where you drive the impact, right? You can't, and that's the hard thing. You can't measure someone's feeling. It's a long play game in that respect. But also everything that we're putting out, we want to hit right there because that's what's going to be most impactful.
I do want to talk about measures, even though we just said we can't. Even though we said we can't measure. I mean, you can't measure the warm and fuzzy part, but in terms.
Well, you can, because then they take action.
True.
Well, they can.
True.
Just because I see a
different
Coca-Cola
ways.
commercial, doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy a Coke. It just, I might buy a Coke one day though.
True.
When I'm thirsty.
And are there key measures for you coming into this? I would say quite a unique and hybrid role. Are there key measures for success for you and how you explain what you're doing to different parts of the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the three main ones really come down to the areas or the platforms that I own. So the first one is LinkedIn and the metrics regarding LinkedIn, which I know we touched on earlier, and just like the growth in that. And then as we continue to build on that foundation, diving more into the connection that has with talent attraction and how we can really start to bring those measures to life, again, to be able to support how impactful this area is in the business. Then it's our internal comms platform, which I touched on previously. It's really about team member engagement, so active users. We've been on this new platform for 3 months now. Our active users is at 95%, which is pretty rare for a company that's so dispersed, and team members also that may only do 1 or 2 shifts a week.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how, they would be logging in outside of work hours, I'm assuming, and then they're receiving information, or?
I mean, it depends how they've set up the app, if they're, got the notifications or not. I think a really key thing is that the restaurant comms are in that app in like a team chat. So to be updated from a team perspective on there, and then you've also got all the national initiatives and updates that are coming. And the way that we've set it up is very much like a social feed. So like we celebrate the wins. Like one really cool example is in restaurant, shout outs are called green shoots at Grilled. And so if you're in a restaurant, you might be doing a pre-shift huddle before like a big dinner service or something, and they'll green shoot team members. And then on the platform, there's actually a green shoot function where you can tag that person. So
this is classic. She's got everyone else doing her job.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, what do you expect?
Well,
She's outsourced it all.
I was going to say with that number of restaurants, you have to.
Yeah, but it's really cool, right? Because then you're taking recognition from one restaurant and taking it across the company.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful.
That's an interesting data point for you as well, to maybe go, okay, who are these people? Who are they receiving all the green shoots? Maybe I should be reaching out to this person. Maybe I can spotlight this individual. Maybe that's something to.
The challenge is that
Big brother.
there are so many amazing people in Grilled across Grilled.
Not a bad problem to have, I would say.
Not,
too many opportunities, too many amazing people.
It is. But again, you come back to, all right, well, what's the company strategy and what are the key focus areas there? How do I align that with purpose, which is where internal comms key messaging comes in at the start of a project to really set that up. And then aligning with marketing on what they're doing externally and bringing that people perspective from an internal perspective. But like I mentioned, I'm in a unique situation where I get to own LinkedIn as well. And so we'll always put the people perspective into that no matter what we do. Yeah.
That's such a unique situation. I think there'll be a lot of other employment branding people. I'm trying to get my spot here and this and that and negotiating with other people.
Once a month.
I've got my one spot here, and that's what I've been able to get across the line. And look, that's just the nature of broad organizations. But that sort of also goes back to the unique nature of your role and the brand that you have as well, that you're promoting, that you have that control around that channel. And it's not necessarily, I would have think, not necessarily needing to interact in a B2B sort of context. So it's all, can be isolated to that sort of focus. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
so good.
it's really cool. Like when I was developing the employer brand strategy, obviously we work very closely with marketing and our talent attraction team in doing that. But the primary audience, and it's interesting, if you go to LinkedIn and actually look at what the primary purpose is on LinkedIn, it's your people. Like it's your team that are the primary audience, and then secondary to that is candidates, and then you've got your suppliers or media or partners or whoever that is. So again, it's just coming back to, who are you primarily, trying to get, and everything else will naturally come.
I like it.
So for people who are collaborating with internal comms, as a recruitment marketer or an employee brander, how can they connect better with internal comms or someone who sits with overall engagement, in your opinion?
It's really about aligning strategies and initiatives, which really should stem from what the company's focus is. And then actually coming back and being like, all right, these are my KPIs. These are my KPIs. Like if we break that down into project by project, what does that look like? What are you going to own? What can I own? How can we align that? Again, to build that, greater connection, because I think what's so easy is that you can get into silos, especially if you're in a high energy environment. Everyone's doing amazing work, but there's still these disconnections. And I think the key role of internal comms really is to connect what is disconnected.
Well, I was going to ask, what is the internal comms superpower that employer brand could leverage to create efficiencies for their role, in your opinion? Because you're uniquely placed. You're sitting in both.
Yep. I think the first thing is, bringing the stories to life as well, and being able to
activate internal stories, would you say is the superpower? Oh.
I think it's hard for me because I'm doing
both,
all three, and because I haven't previously been in an employer brand role, I'm still not really clear. Like every company is a little bit different on what's internal comms and what's employer brand. And for me, it's all quite blurred and aligned and connected. I think if I was to take a step back, internal comms is so strategic. And I think employer brand absolutely is as well, but it's almost taking the cue from internal comms and what the priorities are, where you're going to get the most impact, and focus your stories from a people perspective on that. Because internal comms also understands what the priorities are for the other different areas of the business. So you're bringing alignment together, supporting those areas to tell their stories, but from a people perspective.
It sounds like you're almost, because you're the one person doing all these things, putting on a different hat, and you go, okay, how am I going to benefit? I put this hat on, I'm going to do this initiative, but that's also when I put that hat on, it's going to benefit there. So you're able to then look at those three different areas at once. So if we were to, like, building on sort of, I think with David's question there, is that it's almost like, I guess, if you were doing that sort of planning with the other teams, if this existed and there's multiple people doing multiple roles, to be doing that planning as one, and that understanding and visibility. But you're in the unique position of, being that person covering off on all those three areas.
Yeah, you actually raise a really cool point. So it's been really cool to embed internal comms, engagement, employee brand, and also internal comms across the company, and work really closely with the teams. Like I mentioned earlier, you're kind of part of every team, but also by yourself. And so just coming in and being part of their meetings and their briefing processes as an SME. So then internal comms and engagement always has a section in their project plans and development, and just, being rolled out consistently. So it is that collaboration across departments as well.
Who are you reporting into?
I report into the head of OD&C.
Mm-hmm. And for people who don't know.
Oh, sorry. OD&C is organizational development and culture.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I would say even that's a bit of a unique.
It is really unique.
Yeah, that's a unique title grouping as well.
Yeah, so within that team, obviously sits our educational department and training and development. And I think because engagement is part of my role, that's the culture piece as well. But my manager has an amazing internal comms background as well. So it kind of brings everything together.
But what are your thoughts? I mean, you've been in employee brand for a while. You do come from a marketing background.
Mm-hmm.
You see the benefits of employee brand, or certainly collaborating with internal comms, but possibly reporting into internal comms?
I think there's pluses and minuses. I don't know about necessarily like having to need to report into internal comms. I think there's definitely the need for collaboration and visibility between internal comms, external, your connection to TA. And I think we've had this sort of conversation of, I always sort of think like it just creates a different challenge where employer brand sits. So employer brand can sit inside internal comms. Okay, that's great. Now they've got to develop the relationships with talent acquisition and the marketing team, or you sit inside TA and you've got to build the relationships with the marketing team and internal comms. So kind of regardless of where you sit, there's always a need to have this unification between all these different areas. It just sort of, changes the challenge in one direction or another.
Wouldn't you want to be where the money is so you can get things done?
I mean, fair call.
It does make things easier. Definitely if you're leveraging those sort of assets and expertise, and if you can access the money, for sure. That's one less barrier to have to deal with. Whether or not that's having different tools, access to the right people, or you're in this sort of position when you create, I guess, sort of assets for yourself. Are you needing to now go back into marketing, or are you the producer of all this content as well? Is this like another layer of this already massive role?
Yes, that's right.
Excellent.
Wow.
And this is the thing. Yeah, I had taught myself how to video edit because for so long I've had a team, and so it is strategic and it is very hands-on. So you are a copywriter and you are, I will set up the interviews, and so the way that we work is internally I'll do it like we call it a take 5 video with whatever team member we're profiling, and then I'll edit that and get it up on our internal comms platform, and then I'll write that up and put it up on LinkedIn, because as we know, LinkedIn is a totally different beast. Don't think I'll ever get used to it, so it's really coming back to just what's right for the brand. But obviously pictures work more effective on LinkedIn, with that story.
Lately.
Who knows, right? I mean,
pictures, video. I think there needs to be the variation. I think video is starting to pick up more, and making sure that you're doing the video right, because not everyone has the the temperament to want to sit there and watch a long video, and obviously the captioning and everything else in that environment as well. But
yeah.
Well, they will watch a long video in this episode.
Yeah,
this is a bit different, of course.
This is a longer video, but yeah, there's more. And obviously we're delivering a lot of value here as well. So, and accessing people that provide you with the insights of what goes on behind the scenes. So yeah.
What do you think the tipping point is? Because it seems like you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Managing 3 key areas, really important areas. When are you going to start having conversations with your manager about growing the team, creating more efficiencies with a human?
Before I actually took on the role, that was the conversation. And as I've come into the company and learnt more about Grilled and how it operates, and and again, I think coming from that brand and marketing background where you see everything and you see all the opportunities, and there's just so much that can be done, and then you've got to bring it back to what's going to make the most impact. So to be honest, those conversations have continued, and like even today I've had another conversation about that. That like 6 months in, I really questioned the positioning of where my role stood in terms of the team and all of that, and just in terms of an impact perspective. And it's been really great to network and get to know other people in the industry who are also at really big companies, and just get a feel for where they sit and where other, and yes, they're generally doing one of the 3 areas that I look after. But but that's been really beneficial as well. So I think it's just a continual conversation as well, and just coming back to what's going to make the most impact. So I guess.
Is there any learnings from your previous experiences working within marketing that relate to communicating, like we can do more with more?
Well, I mean, that's where the key metrics come in, right? That like if you're going to influence our exec team, it's all about numbers. And so it's been really cool after, 6 months on LinkedIn to start to really show that impact and be able to show, again, we're just foundation, but it's had a massive impact because it's been right. And then from an internal comms perspective. And then when we do our engagement surveys, so that will be another key metric as well. From the communications perspective, has it shifted?
And if you're able to get more people in the team, what do you want to do?
Oh.
If you can get the resources, it's thinking about the pitch, right? Because you've had a chance to look at everything that you can do and go, okay, what's the reality of what I can do as an individual and bite off. If you had, a new person come in and join, what would you ideally like to give to them?
I would actually had this conversation this morning.
Yeah.
That new person needs really strong project management skills, but I'd actually give them the content creation so I can spend more time with our leaders to make more of an impact.
Love that.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
And it sounds like you've got a real appetite to connect in with the community. So I'm assuming if people do want to connect in with you, they'll jump onto LinkedIn and send you an invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. Please hit me up. Always happy to talk and share. And, there's just so much in this space and so much that we could cover. And yeah, it's awesome to be able to have the opportunity. So thank you so much.
No, thank you.
I feel very privileged to be here. So thank you so much.
We feel very privileged that you came and told your story. It's really meaningful. Thank you.
Thanks so much.